Hello and welcome to TV Sapienta News Hour. On news headlines, former Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalong, political activist Moyele Oshowore, and other agitators under the coalition of Nigerian patriots have demanded that Nigerians should be allowed to acquire firearms to defend themselves against attack. The funeral of Pope Francis has gotten underway as hundreds of thousands of Catholic faithful packed the site to bid farewell to the pontiff. Uganda's half-marathon world record holder Jacob Kiplimo said he is well prepared and ready to do his best when he makes his full marathon debut in London on Sunday. The full details of the news. I am Oluchi Ojo Bamdele. In commemoration of World Malaria Day yesterday, the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has called for renewed commitment in the fight against malaria. According to her, malaria remains one of the nation's most pressing health emergencies. Remi Tinubu called on all government agencies, private sector partners, non-governmental organizations, health workers and community leaders to fasten their belts in the fight against malaria to eradicate the disease. The federal government is set to launch the National Agribusiness Policy Mechanism to strengthen agricultural productivity, stabilize food prices, and drive economic growth. The mechanism is part of a broader initiative aimed at transforming the country's agricultural sector through data-driven policies and public-private partnerships. Speaking on Friday in Abuja during a meeting of the Presidential Food Systems Coordinating Unit Steering Committee at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, Vice President Katim Shettima said the initiative will align agricultural efforts across all government tiers through real-time data analytics. The Vice President noted that Nigeria have made many interventions in the past, but must make this work, adding that it is the state that will drive the process. Signed between Nigeria and Brazil on March 17, 2025, the Green Imperative Project is a $1.1 billion initiative aimed to modernize about 774 mid-sized Nigerian farms with Brazilian agricultural technologies, creating jobs and boosting productivity across the nation. VP Shettima further said President Bola Tinubu has approved 15 billion naira for the National Emergency Management Agency to prepare for floods as the rainy season kicks in. Former Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalong, political activist Moyele Oshowore, and other agitators under the coalition of Nigerian patriots have demanded that Nigerians should be allowed to acquire firearms to defend themselves against attack. Making the demand at a press conference held in Abuja yesterday, they said such approval would put an end to the incessant killings and genocidal attacks going on in Benue State, Plateau, Kwara, and other places in the country. Addressing journalists in Abuja, Dalong said it was unfortunate that gruesome killings had been allowed to escalate across Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa, Kaduna, Kogi, Kwara, and a few parts of the northwest, with lives, properties, and livelihoods destroyed in the process. Dalong further chided the presidency over what he described as slow response and alleged misrepresentation of the massacre happening in the affected communities. In his address, Oshowore said most Nigerians have lost confidence in the security agencies, describing the rising cases of insecurity across the country in the last few months as an indication that the police hierarchy had run out of ideas. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has dismissed rumors of his ill health and collapse while laying out conditions for any genuine reconciliation with his political ally turned rival, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Speaking on Friday at the Platinum Jubilee celebration of Honorable Ken Chikere in Port Harcourt, Wike addressed the ongoing tensions in Rivers State, stressing that while he's open to peace, it must involve members of the State Assembly, the National Assembly, and the two major political parties. In what many interpreted as a swipe at Fubara supporters and some traditional leaders, Wike criticized the silence of supposed elder statesmen and accused them of complicity in the crisis, questioning the tangible steps they had taken to foster lasting peace in the state. Wike, however, denied the viral rumors that he had collapsed and was flown abroad for treatment, explaining he had traveled overseas to attend his son's graduation, not for medical reasons. Suspected armed herders have launched another attack on Abovenga Udam community in Gwe West local government area of Benue State, killing at least 7 people. According to residents of the area, the attackers laid siege on the community around 7 p.m., during which they opened fire sporadically on the inhabitants. It was gathered that an infant was among those killed and the mother was abducted by their assailants. The witness added that 5 of the bodies have been deposited in a morgue in Naka, while the families of the remaining 2 deceased opted to bury their dead without delay. Speaking, Chairman of Gwe West Local Government Area Victor Omin, who confirmed the incident to newsmen, lamented that the killing was coming after commercial vehicles were hijacked and passengers taken away, decrying the activities of suspected armed herders in the local government. The council board said about 2 people who are critically injured during the attack are receiving treatment at the hospital, and the situation is becoming unbearable considering the way these armed herders are wreaking havoc in the local government area and the state as a whole. Meanwhile, calls and messages put through to the police public relations officer, Catherine Anene, were not answered. A former deputy national chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Chief Bode George, has downplayed the recent defection of key Delta State politicians to the All Progressives Congress (APC), insisting that it poses no real threat to the opposition party ahead of the 2027 general elections. Speaking in an interview on Channel Television's Politics Today, the PDP chieftain described the defection as a familiar political episode that holds little long-term consequence for the PDP. This is coming in the wake of the defection of Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborewori, his deputy Monde Onyeme, and former Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, along with several commissioners and political stakeholders in the state, to the APC on Wednesday. George noted that the fact that these guys moved in mass, they are only there for personal embellishment. The 79-year-old concluded by assuring Nigerians that the PDP would emerge stronger. Senate President Godswill Akpabio and other members of Nigeria's official delegations have arrived in Vatican City ahead of the funeral of Pope Francis scheduled for today. Akpabio led the 5-member high-level delegations constituted by President Bola Tinubu to represent Nigeria at the burial rites of the late head of the Roman Catholic Church. Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, confirmed the composition of the delegation in a statement on Friday, saying the team would deliver a formal letter conveying President Tinubu's condolences to the acting head of the Vatican. President Tinubu had earlier joined the world leaders and global Catholic community in mourning the revered pontiff, saying the Pope's passing, commonly shortly after Easter, symbolized a sacred return to his Maker at a time of renewed hope for Christians. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has raised alarm over the regrouping of Boko Haram insurgents in the Tumbos area of Lake Chad and the Mandara Hills within the Sambiza forest in the state. Zulum lamented the setback in military operations in the state, saying Boko Haram terrorists are freely breeding in Tumbos water areas on the Lake Chad without much effort by the military to dislodge them. The governor disclosed this in Maiduguri on Friday when the Minister of Defense, Badaru Abubakar, Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and other top military commanders paid him a visit. Acknowledging the efforts of the military in combating the Boko Haram in Borno and the northeast, he noted that there had been resurgence of the terrorists in certain areas, particularly around the Tumbus in Lake Chad and the Mandara Hills in Zambisa Forest. Responding, the Minister of Defense Badaru assured that the federal government would provide more military support to deal with the security challenges in Borno and the northeast. On the foreign scene, Ethiopia's Minister of Health, Dr. Mekes Daba, has called on African nations to strengthen their disease prevention and control capacities through investments in modern laboratory infrastructure and skilled medical personnel. Dr. Daba speaking at the opening of the inaugural Russian African Sanitation and Emergency Rapid Response Team Training Seminar in Addis Ababa on Friday. He emphasized the need for regional collaboration to improve health security. The three-day workshop hosted by Ethiopia brought together health experts from 15 African countries to enhance rapid response capabilities and the quality of research-based medical services. At the event, Russia handed over a state-of-the-art mobile laboratory to Ethiopia's Ministry of Health. He said the lab, capable of diagnosing over 300 diseases, is expected to play a critical role in strengthening epidemic preparedness across the region. Daba also highlighted the commitment of both countries to deepening partnerships in health-related areas. He noted that Ethiopia currently operates 33 laboratories nationwide, with plans to expand to 40 in the near future. The funeral of Pope Francis, who died on Monday, aged 88, has gotten underway at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican. Hundreds of thousands of Catholic faithful have packed the site to bid farewell to the pontiff. Also, dozens of head of state and world leaders are also in attendance. Pope Francis' funeral service this morning is being led by the Dean of College of Cardinals, Giovanni Battista Re. The 91-year-old Italian was ordained for the Diocese of Brescia in 1957. In 2001, Pope John Paul II proclaimed him as Cardinal. He was elected as Dean of the College of Cardinals in 2020, and Pope Francis extended his term in February this year. The Pope will be laid to rest at the Basilica of St. Mary Major or Church of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome. Now to the world of sports. Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah has received the National Sports Festival's Touch of Unity, promising full participation of the state's contingents in the forthcoming event scheduled to hold in Ogun State. Governor Mbah, who was represented by Lord Ekweremadu, the Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development in the state, commended the initiator of the festivals, saying it had created a bond of unity among Nigerians. The governor said that through the sports festival, many talents have been discovered to represent Nigeria in various international competitions across the world. The festival will hold from May 16th to May 30th in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Still on the world of sports, Uganda's half-marathon world record holder Jacob Kiplimo said he is well prepared and ready to do his best when he makes his full marathon debut in London on Sunday. The two-time world cross-country champion Kiplimo, who shattered the half-marathon record by 48 seconds in Barcelona in February, will feature in a stellar field that includes Ethiopia's Olympic champion Tamira Tola and marathon great Eliud Kipchoge. This year's London Marathon is expected to break the world's record for the most participants, with more than 56,000 people set to compete. And to wrap it up on the news at noon, at News at 1, a recap of our headlines. Former Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalong, political activists Omoyele Sowore, and other agitators under the coalition of Nigerian patriots have demanded that Nigerians should be allowed to acquire firearms to defend themselves against attack. The funeral of Pope Francis has gotten underway as hundreds of thousands of Catholic faithful packed the sites to bid farewell to the pontiff. Uganda's half-marathon world record holder Jacob Kiplimo said he is well prepared and ready to do his best when he makes the full marathon debut in London on Sunday. And that was the TV Sapienza News at 1. On behalf of the technical and editorial crew, I am Oluchi Ojobamdele. Do have a beautiful Saturday afternoon.